Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, Ghana reaches agreement in principle with Eurobond holders for the restructuring of $13 billion worth of international debt. Also ahead, we explore the implications of the Supreme Court decision to uphold the Food and Drugs Authority's directive that prevents celebrities from endorsing alcoholic drinks.
I will continue to encourage the youth to rather depend on some other things that would, whatever they want to do, without depending on alcohol. Let me quickly add that we are not denying our celebrities a means of income.
We'll delve into that on our show business segment. Thanks for staying with us. Details coming up. What's happening on the currency market as we continue to gauge the cedi's performance against major trading currencies. Like you can see on your screen, the dollar going for 15 cedis, 40 pesos. That's if you are buying, and it's selling at 15 cedis, 80 pesos. The pound sterling, 19 cedis, 40 pesos is the buying rate. Is selling at 19 cedis, 80 pesos. And the euro buying rate for that is 16 cedis, 40 pesos, also selling at 16 cedis, 70 pesos. So that's a look at the currency board as we continue to monitor the cedi's performance against major trading currencies this week. Now, Ghana has reached an agreement in principle with its Eurobond holders for the restructuring of $13 billion worth of international debt, according to a Reuters report. This is on the heels of a deal finalized with official creditors earlier this month. Now, Reuters sources say the deal will see bondholders take a haircut on principal of up to 37% and maturity of bonds lengthened. Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University, Williams Pepper, has been on this story with us from day one. He joins us on Zoom as we make sense of the latest developments. Thank you so much for joining us on the marketplace, Prof. And so what do you make of this latest news with the Eurobond holders, as reported by Reuters? Looks like there is a headway finally, but is that the best outcome?
Daryl, and good afternoon to your viewers. I mean, this is what we were expecting, that we should see some headway on the issue. You know, remember, it got stalled at the point. Both the Eurobond holders and Ghana government, they had some discrepancies. So for them to be able to agree on some terms, it's a positive outcome. And we hope that nothing will cause this to change so that we can conclude on the debt exchange or debt restructuring.
Well, let's delve into the agreement as we know it. What are the implications of the deal on both parties? The Eurobond holders are accepting a 37% haircut on principal, and the maturity of the bonds is lengthened.
So this is very important. You know, the 13 billion or 13.1 billion debt, once they have accepted 37% haircut, gives Ghana, let me put it, they are in a layman's term, this has been written off so that they are not going to demand it. So this 37% is going to also cause the interest payment to reduce. However, if you look at the terms very well, they did not change the coupon payment and also the duration, which means that the bondholders want Ghana to start the repayment immediately. They are not going to defer the repayment of the coupons and then also the principal when they are due. So they want cash now. The impact on Ghana is that this is going to affect our imbalance of payments when we start making these payments. And this will have an impact also on our exchange rate if we are not liquid enough or if we don't have a lot of foreign currencies to make the payment. So it will be wise on Ghana government to be saving some dollars somewhere so that the moment this agreement is signed, we will be in the position to pay the Eurobond holders when they become due.
So the government has also secured a deal with bilateral creditors, which will see delayed interest on payment and postponement of the maturity date. But creditors rejected a haircut on principal. Your thoughts on these terms as well?
So it's, to me, I would say it's disappointing to see that bilateral creditors did not agree to give us any haircut or any reduction on their loans. Based on the terms, what we have noticed is that they only gave us deferment on the repayment of both principal and interest, which means that they are pushing the debt for the future generations to pay. That is the only thing they have done. They are just giving us a breather when we have to make these payments. But eventually, this 5.4 billion, we have to pay all of them. So, advice again, government must have to be planning now to look at how we will find dollars or make the dollars available to pay these funds when they become due. So if you compare the agreements reached, the Eurobond holders want cash now or want to be paid now. That is why they accepted a haircut of 37%. However, the bilateral or government or countries' debt, they want their full payment, and that is why they have given us a deferment on payment on interest and the principal. Generational debt, which is going to come, and we must prepare ourselves to pay it.
Yeah, and the government has indicated it will move to engage individual countries on a final deal, still on negotiations with bilateral creditors. Do you think it's a good idea?
I mean, so that is what needs to be done now. The last time we spoke, I mentioned that though the MOU has been signed, what really needs to be done is getting the country to sign off. So this is what must be done before IMF will say that you have completed the MOU. You have gotten all the countries to sign on to the agreement, and we are ready to release the next $360 million to Ghana government.
Well, while we negotiate these deals, we have to think of paying back the debt. And some analysts have suggested that government sets up an escrow account for payment of interest to minimize the impact on the economy when government begins payment. Do you agree with that? What should be the strategy?
I perfectly agree with this recommendation that Ghana government establish an escrow account. In my perspective, to be more specific, I want the Ghana government to look at the sources where we can get foreign direct inflows. So in the country, there are two main areas which we easily get the foreign direct inflows: the petroleum revenue, and then also from our cocoa. But we know that our cocoa industry is now hampered now. It is not very as we expect. However, the petroleum revenue gives us a room to plan. So we may have to go and make some amendments to the Petroleum Revenue Act 2011 Act 185, and then add on to the existing Ghana Stabilization Fund and then the Ghana Heritage Fund one line item which will take care of these debts when they become due. So, for example, if 3% is put in, is set aside from our petroleum revenue to service these debts, that money can be seeded into the escrow account. That is dollar for dollar. It will not have a major impact on the currency and then also on the economy. We know that there are some oil fields being developed. Some of them also put probably discussion ongoing for further development, and this will also support the generational debt effect that is coming because of the restructuring of the debt, and then we'll be able to use the petroleum revenue to make the payment.
And all things being equal, a week from now, the executive board of the IMF would be meeting to review Ghana's program. We expect the board to approve the disbursement of $360 million for the country. That is certainly going to happen, isn't it?
I mean, from the information we have now, it's certain that it's going to happen. I'm sure by next week, the countries would have finished signing onto the MOU, and then the Eurobond holders would have also agreed to sign on to it. So it's hopeful that by the end of June, let's say July, we should be in a position to have these funds coming in to support the balance of payments of Ghana.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Williams Pipart there. He is Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University. Always a pleasure to speak with you on the marketplace. Now, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center has called on private businesses to be tax compliant. The Deputy Chief Executive, Yawa Mwati noted that the socio-economic development of the country is largely hinged on tax revenues, hence the need for companies to be compliant. Speaking at a forum organized by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, he admonished revenue mobilization authorities to be calculated in enforcing tax compliance.
GIPC always wants to ensure that there is a careful balance on the issue of tax. Of course, we have to listen to the private sector and their woes, right? But because, again, we are contending with a very difficult and complex fiscal environment, revenues have to come in. And if those revenues do not come in, it will be very difficult for government to finance its budget. And if government cannot finance its budget, then it places all of us at jeopardy. So it is a careful balancing act. We call on the private sector to comply with taxes, but we're also calling on GRA to be a bit more modest in terms of how they handle the private sector businesses who are compliant and continue to keep, as it were, this country afloat. It is taxes that support an economy.
Bill's Microcredit has unveiled the company's vision to leverage technological innovation by introducing credit cards aimed at fostering a financially inclusive society. Founder and board chairman Richard Nie Amakwe spoke at a dinner to mark the 15th anniversary of the Savings and Loans Company.
Those Microcredit marked its 15 years anniversary as a leading savings and loans company, boasting over 50% market dominance. At the anniversary dinner, founder and board chairman Richard Nie Amakwe unveiled the company's vision to leverage technological innovation for financial inclusion.
We aim to emerge as a pure-play modern credit company with a wider reach and numerous products tailored to meet the needs of customers in various economic brackets, backed by strong IT infrastructure. For example, we want to put a credit card into the hands of every single Ghanaian, something that the universal banks in Ghana have failed to do for the past 100 years. And we believe that they will still be unable to do so for the next 100 years. Not because they do not want to do so, but because they are just not built for that. So accept us. We believe this is possible with the support and approval from the Bank of Ghana. Together we will drive economic progress and empower communities through accessible financial solutions.
The government chair, Kintaki Tekutru II, praised the company's dynamic leadership over the years.
Ke inyeme game ni yo wading ublanu ne ibomoding imenemba ni majele ni mahale no chuno ni mahala yiko ni obomoding. He is a brother in arms, and we have decided to go out of our way as Ghana young men to make our presence known in this capital, that we own it. Yes. Yes. It must count. So for this day, I thank you all for the support you have given him, his top management, his staff, his customers, his friends, Osumolo, Onyanyome, Mefeni Fitahe, Manyaba.
Bill's Chief Executive Officer, Romeo Richlove Kweku Seshi, emphasized the importance of honoring loyal staff and clients.
We have a solid team in place with people who are who are experienced, who are well educated, people who are well motivated to be able to deliver on their mandate. So this evening you can see a lot of awards were given out, and this is to recognize the effort of the contribution of these staff. So the more you retain your staff, the more they will be able to give their best for the development and the continual growth of their business.
The celebration gathered kings, government representatives, staff, and key players in Ghana's financial sector.
You're watching The Marketplace. Time now for show business. Right, so this week, a significant legal development ensued concerning alcohol marketing in the showbiz industry. The Supreme Court, in a majority decision, upheld the Food and Drugs Authority's directive that prevents celebrities from endorsing alcoholic drinks. As a result, celebrities and well-known professionals are now permanently prohibited from appearing in advertisements for alcoholic beverages. To delve deeper into the implications of this ruling, I'm joined by country journalist Kenneth Ochidako for today's edition of Show Business. And so I want us to begin with how this started. What's the genesis of the story, really?
So I think the conversation started somewhere around 2015 when the Food and Drugs Authority started dabbling with the idea of placing a ban on popular figures or celebrities advertising products that have alcohol in them. Now, in 2016 February, there was a guideline that was put out officially that was, in the same direction. So
that's
from
8 years ago.
Yes. So from 2016 February, the FDA had already hit the ground running in terms of, preventing or prohibiting celebrities from putting their face or likeness towards any product that has alcohol in them, and that has been the genesis of this particular debacle. So between that time and now, there have been pushed back from a section of the the showbiz industry, which has a lot of these notable faces, and that's how come we got here today.
All right, and so during the week, I think was it Tuesday or was it Wednesday, the Supreme Court upheld the decision by the Food and Drugs Authority. Tell us a bit more about that and the implications.
So the guideline that was being contended by that particular court issue was basically forwarded by a music executive called Mark Darlington Osei, and he was contending that the fact that the FDA had placed that ban on celebrities was some form of discrimination based on the social or economic status of these individuals. He believed basically, and his lawyers also contended, saying that it would not be fair for the FDA to, based on just the fact that someone is a popular figure, is unable to advertise, for these products. I mean, they also see this as, an avenue of income for these celebrities, apart from the fact that they have their individual careers, such as music, movies, amongst other things that they dabble in, where they get their money. These are some of the avenues that they consider for passive income to be able to keep themselves going. So for him, it would be discriminatory for the courts not to, affirm their proposal that they were supposed to be in that particular, field of endeavor, as in endorsing alcoholic products, and it's going to help them and help the industry as a whole.
I mean, so the manufacturers need the celebrities to make money. The celebrities making money is off the manufacturers, but then the argument also is, if the consumer, especially children, are watching these celebrities endorse the alcohol, they're going to go for it. I mean, that's a moral argument. But there are reactions to this. When you go through them on Twitter, or it's X now. So what are some of the reactions that we've been picking?
The reactions have been quite varied. I mean, you can see this one by Araba Ag, who says, "Prohibition, is that you? This is a very bad move. The idea that minors are consuming alcohol because of celebrity influence is absurd. This is an issue that that far predates today's celebrity culture. Scapegoating celebrities won't stem the problem. the FDA seeks to address.
Well, that's debatable. She brings up the argument about whether or not minors are being influenced by the fact that these alcoholic beverages are being advertised by the celebrities.
And that's what you were talking about when you mentioned the fact that it's going to be a moral argument.
Yeah.
And that is the grounds, you know, some of the grounds based on which those who are against the ruling.
But is this scientifically proven? I mean, that's also another argument that we have.
Exactly. But there's also numbers to also show that the industry, the revenue that's been generated in the alcohol drink market, basically, is expected to hit $10 billion.
$10 billion?
$10 million this year alone. So there's so much money to be already being made over there just without the help of these notable faces in Ghana. And so imagine how much that could be made, how much more could be made if these popular figures decide to put their backing off of this. But that also will bring back the argument that, I mean, it's also a way of recruiting new consumers into the market, which the lawyers for the FDA were contending that it would be a problem if allowed to.
Okay, some more reactions. Foundational black, was that Fontaine? Okay. Now do same for herbal and other medicines.
Exactly. Right. So that again, it comes back to
so right now, celebrities are allowed to advertise for herbal products.
So there is no clear guideline when it comes to celebrities endorsing herbal, and all those medicines that have not been approved by, the FDA as well. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the issue that had to do with Fela McAfee and the other product that she was promoting, which landed her in some trouble. I mean, it's around the same line. That was the argument people were making around that time, that there's also the issue of alcohol, which is in court right now, for which we now have a ruling. And so people are saying, like you're saying here, that if you are allowed to, ban, celebrities from using this particular avenue, or you're banning celebrities from promoting this, then of course you have to, channel that same effort into, the herbal medicine and other spaces that, also need regulation.
All right, we are going to pick up the next slides very soon. Yao is going to help us with that as we continue to gauge the reactions to these. To this decision by the Supreme Court. This is sad because local celebs are really losing out. I hope that's not really clear, but this one,
I'm sure he's trying to say he hopes to read the judgment.
Yeah, and the final one, so we can move on. Is there a final one? Yeah, okay, I think that's all. That's all the reactions. So, yeah, what next, really?
For now, the ruling has been made. The judge actually indicated that the full ruling is going to be out today, Friday. So we are hoping that it comes out so that people can have, a full grasp of whatever went into the decision that has been taken today. But going forward, I mean, there's a ruling. There's not much you can do about it. There's going to be enforcement that's going to follow this. So the celebrities or the notable personalities do not have much to do right now than to just comply. The advertisers and marketers are also supposed to comply because it's a regulatory industry as well. But going forward, there has to be some collaboration among the two parties. I mean, a media personality, George Quay, was indicating that he was against the ruling. Actually, he was proposing that there could have been a better way to target when it comes to ensuring that there's sanity in the consumption of the alcohol space. He was proposing that the FDA could have found better ways to collaborate with, the celebrities to make sure that there's some sensitization that goes into the consumption space so that you educate the youth rather than an outright ban.
Or you're giving us numbers about how much the alcohol market is making. I'm just wondering, during the period of the ban, how did the market react to it? The fact that celebrities were not, promoting the product.
It was a lot of advocacy. There was a lot of advocacy from persons within the showbiz industry. Most importantly, there was advocacy from people who felt that it was being, as a form of discrimination against all of them. So there was more of advocacy and finding other ways to, meet the FDA at a middle ground to ensure that this happens. But that, did not happen. They had to comply and sit back as other people, especially their counterparts in other countries that do not have this ban. For instance, in Nigeria, you'd find that a lot of artists are cashing in big on this, alcohol beverage industry, for which reason they feel left out when it comes to Ghana. So they have just been complying and hoping that the advocacy yields some results. But unfortunately, things did not go their way this week.
Well, let's see how it goes. Probably will be challenged. The only culture journalist in the country, Kenneth Awuchidako, with Show Business. This afternoon on the marketplace. Thank you so much. Well, now, maize traders at the Wenchi main market in the Bono region have expressed worry over the non-standardized weighing system in the various maize markets in the country. The Wenchi Maize Traders Association blames Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies for failing to enact bylaws to make standardized weighing of maize binding in all markets. According to them, the situation has negatively affected actors in the value chain, especially farmers. Yes, more.
Maize is the most important grain cereal in Ghana because it is grown throughout the agroecological zone. However, the domestic maize market, like other agricultural commodity markets, has been facing several challenges, including the absence of standardized weighing system. For instance, what is measured as one bag, that is 50 kilograms bag at the farm gate, could comparably be 2 bags, that is 100 kilograms bag, or more at another market, depending on the income disparities between farmers and other actors in the maize value chain.
Star standard weight system, yes, so we do to Mukra in your NGOs for Mamma Boy, with a GIZ for a boy and the eco training. And my case in the and Ebi. But systems none a woman and more and papa into a can say about then Bona half region. No, that's a 14 district. I a Brumojuma. Into your judged for my size case in Ebi. But case now, a buy and Nanka Yamba loss to be I bet actually I'm getting in who say, ye fat Bowen Chia, your way, your conquansa, your way, your cottage your way. But in fact, your Nanti, I'm in fact, started touching my, but yeah, Uncle Siaga. So, you could say that if it's a problem, there's a way to Nankasa say, you just scale away, Jumidi, and Yanya Juma. Then I'm saying, Nimrabia touching Nama, I think the Yanya Juma is saying.
Frederick Adumaku Esiedu appeals to the MMDAs to enact bylaws that will enable the enforcement of standardized weighing skills in the maize markets.
In here, bylaws to be a SN Kabu to me today, at their back. So, what will broke Juma, a Sabia away 100 kilos and 50 kilos. Now, I admit it at their mind. You go to Bompire say, even your sponsors, you know, what media wouldn't pay for. Nankai, I bet my Mrabian at their territory. Say, Mra, what they are, we have a serious. No, so Mra, this is one way. Okay, Yento, and I say, okay, the Yam for blue.
The secretary of the maize traders at the Wenchi main market called on the municipal assembly to help fix their challenges.
Ye nipata I pata de el habakope. We are brave going now, you so far a buen, a real bar, a share so eka ho. Eka crabin say when punching and Bimos in your patado ha. What I say, Nasa your former in your pavement and answer, it's in your fence, your market here fence somewhere. I can say a beboa, I mean, you imagine it.
And that's the marketplace. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Enjoy your weekend.